In this video, I just want to have a heart-to-heart with you about the 5 immature ideas, concepts, slogans that have been ruining South Africa since 1994. Now, if you'll stay with me until the end, what I hope you get is that this comes from a heart of deep love for you, deep love for my country, and a deep desire to see this country prosper. And if you will listen with an open heart, not defensive, hear me out, I believe we might just help to add, because South Africa will prosper. With or without your cooperation on this video, South Africa will prosper. You ready for that? Press like. Let's go. So, 5 immature ideas that have been ruining South Africa since 1994. What is immaturity? Let's think of it not as an insult, but let's look at it properly. Emotional regulation. The immature can't manage their emotions. As I go through the video, it's become normal that there's gonna be someone throwing a tantrum, defending a party that's kept them poor. They can't manage emotions. Responsibility. Immaturity, number 1 for me, I would define it like this. The one who accepts responsibility for themselves and others is mature. The one who expects someone else to take responsibility for them is immature. These are the concepts that we've lived with since 1994 and social interactions. It is immature to be singing Kill the Boer in a country that has Afrikaners in it. That's just childish. Like, what are you doing? No, but you don't understand what they did. Okay, you're telling me you can't regulate your emotion. No, but it's a struggle song. Okay, you're telling me you never accept responsibility. It includes difficulty and a tendency to blame others. Blame America. They are controlling us. That's why they're going to do this. Always someone to blame. Blame apartheid, blame America, blame everybody. This is just immaturity. And we hear it so much that I fell for it until at some point my eyes were open. An unwillingness to take responsibility for one's actions or outcome. Why are there no jobs? It's white people. It's apartheid. Why is there so much poverty? It's because the whites don't want to transform their businesses. It's everybody's fault. Immature individuals may also struggle with commitment, exhibit self-centeredness, and display a lack of empathy. Now, if you're gonna hear this video and it seems too hard for you, please afterwards go and watch this one and you'll understand how I got to be where I am, and you may find that you and I have a better understanding. So, let's start here. Idea number 1. Immature idea number 1 is this. An idea will work just because I thought so. Immaturity. Here's an example.
First step to amending the Constitution to allow for land expropriation without compensation is now over. After months of public comment and debate, the Constitutional Review Committee recommended constitutional change. The ANC says while 65% of written submissions were against amending the Constitution, the process was never intended to be judged on the number of submissions, but its content.
90% of South Africans would have voted for expropriation of land without compensation.
Meanwhile, opposing parties fought to the end, with the DA criticizing what it calls the ANC's failed land reform policies.
Will amending the Constitution revive all the failed restitution and redistribution farms lying fallow and miraculously turn them into well-run, profitable entities?
You've made a huge blunder, and the poor ANC is like a drunken sailor falling over a wheelbarrow again.
Expropriation without compensation. Because it's an idea. What's the idea? Take the land from these and give it to these and then it works. Mature people ask themselves, has expropriation without compensation worked anywhere in the world, in history? And if the answer is no, they don't start going, no, it's because Zimbabwe didn't do it properly. No, it's because China never did it properly. We'll do it in a nice way. Childish thinking thinks just because I think it is an idea, I can make it work. Here's an example. Here's a young boy who's wearing Superman's cape. He's got a clear idea. I'm gonna fly like Superman flies. What happens?
In the state. Sure. Spend any time on the field, Tom?
Yeah, I don't think you should never do that again. I thought you was gonna walk down the top steps. That was crazy. Don't let that cape boost your head up no more.
Immaturity. Watch it one more time.
State. Sure. Spend any time on the field, Tom?
That's immaturity. Just because I have an idea and I simply see how it'll work, I do it. That's why people are in shacks. That's why there are no jobs. Immature idea number 2.
We have not achieved economic freedom. That economic freedom requires a united people. If we're not united, the land distribution will remain distorted. Poverty, inequality, and unemployment.
Immature idea number 2. Besides all the other poems that he's saying, which mean absolutely nothing, have no basis in any fact anywhere in South Africa, he's just doing poetry. But the immature idea number 2 is equality. The idea that there's equality anywhere in the world. Come and ask me to borrow 5,000 today. You come and I give it to you in the first 10 seconds. And then someone else comes and asks me for 5,000 next week. I say, no, I'll give it to you if you give me some kind of surety. Because I'm not equal to myself from day to day. Where in the world have you ever seen equality? Besides in poor countries where everyone is equally poor. Where in the world have you seen inequality? Where in nature have you seen inequality? Did you go outside and find all the trees the same height? Are you equal to yourself? I'm fine being shorter than 80% of men. That's just where I am, but I can still succeed and prosper in wherever I can make it. There is no equality in the world. It is so immature to keep talking about something that you've never seen anywhere except on TV, just like Superman. Let's give you an example. This is Singapore. No minerals. They have no natural resources, but they are 3 times richer than their ex-colonizer, the UK. Wealthy country. Do they have equality? No. Let's hear them talk about poverty.
2,000. Yeah.
Below 2,000 is considered low income. 2 to 4 is average. 5 is slightly more comfortable, I will say that. Nowadays, some youngsters without education, they also can take below 2,000. I don't know how they survive. That's why government subsidize and support them.
Consider poor for Singapore right now. I can say it's about 1,000. You need more than 5K. You can call be rich.
There we go. They're busy discussing poverty. What you see there is shack area. It's like a Mandela view because there's always one. This is like Mandela view shacks in Singapore. So here's the thing. Wealthy country. They don't have equality. What do they have? They have prosperity. Have you seen prosperity anywhere in the world? Yes, I can give you 20 countries. But they still have inequality because there is no way to fix inequality. Any society that focuses on equality increases inequality and increases poverty. Any country that focuses on prosperity, what happens is this. Inequality may go up, but the bottom where poverty is moves up. It is immature to go on about equality. What matters is prosperity. Have I seen prosperity before? Yes, go outside, water your garden. You'll see it. It flourishes. Then you know, okay, at least this is something I've seen before. That is how mature people think. Children, they want to fly. Immature idea number 4 is that I can just tell people to do something and then it happens. Like I can just cry and mommy will put her breast in my mouth and milk will appear because I said so. I just said, mommy, I'm hungry. And then It must happen. Listen.
To supporting small and medium enterprises. They had been challenged by government to begin to focus on how we can garner more investments in our economy. And in a side discussion, Minister Naledi Pandor said the business community really needs to start addressing the issue of youth unemployment.
There we go. 10 years later, is youth unemployment gone down? No, baby. Just because you say you're hungry doesn't mean you're gonna be full. How do adults do it? Adults try and learn the principles that make something happen. You don't tell business to hire people and then jobs show up. You don't tell business you need to do your part as citizens. It doesn't work. Listen, this YouTube channel, since we started 3 months ago, grows at 10,000 subscribers per month. How many times, for those who follow me, do you hear me talking about subscribing? I don't. What do? I try focus on the things that cause people to subscribe. And then once in a while, maybe once a week, I will say, yeah, subscribe. But I'm not one of those immature, open the video and say, please, make sure you subscribe, please, because it will help me. First of all, that's immature. Because if I talk to you about helping me, why? Why should you help me? So I've got to figure out what makes people subscribe. You can't go to business and say, hire people, do this, do that. No, there are principles that you apply that bring employment. You don't have to talk to business ever. You don't ever have to tell any investor anywhere in the world that we are open for business. If you do the things that make us open for business, unemployment goes away. Unfortunately, our people keep listening to these immature statements and slogans, and a big reason I understand, this is our first government since we moved into democracy. And so, maybe we are immature as a democracy. But here's what I'm saying. Please, listen for parties that talk about the things that bring employment. Listen for parties that talk about prosperity. Listen, these comrades, I'm sorry, I don't mean to insult anyone, but comrades, revolutionaries, fighters, that is immature politics. They wear military stuff and they fat and can't do 10 push-ups and call each other commander. Guys, that's crutch. Why are you wearing military clothes and you can't do 10 push-ups? You have a big stomach. You can't wear What are we doing here? What are we doing? It's just immaturity, always angry, always blaming, always marching, always on some fight thing, liberation. Guys, I'm sorry, but we've seen it for 30 years. What does it produce? Nothing. Then they go, no, it's because the old liberation guy is not as good as the new one. Guys, you know they're all the same. They talk the same thing. They just tell you, never forget apartheid. Remember white people are your problem. Remember the West is your problem. Remember business is selfish. And then we must tell them we must do it. It's all the same thing. It is immature politics. And I don't mean this to offend you, because someone's listening and they belong to a party, they get offended. It is immature. And one of the things about maturity is looking at results over time. No, but the EFF is different. You know Juju's got as much scandals as Ramaphosa. You know President Zuma has as much scandals as Ramaphosa. Why? Because immature people do immature things and they get in trouble for immature acting. And they are not immature because but they also fell for immature politics because of how they came into it. I don't say this with being above them or something like that. I say it with love for our country. Please, South Africa, look for parties that talk prosperity, that talk about how to incentivize business, and not these ones who want to take the businesses, take the land, take the banks, take this, overthrow the constitution. It is wrong, it's Roman Dutch. Listen, you know that's just kiddie stuff. You know kids will say stuff like, let's move to America tomorrow. You know older people are going to say, whoa, we can't move to America tomorrow. We can't move to Japan tomorrow because we'd have to sell the house and then we'd have to sell the clothes and then we'd have to get a... Mature people think about these things. So listen, this it is immature politics of people who can't manage their emotions, which brings us to number 5.
To this continent, we don't mind having and bearing sanctions banning us from Europe. We are not Europeans. We have not asked for any inch of Europe or any square inch of that territory. So Blair, keep your England and let me keep my Zimbabwe.
Are you on your knees a little bit at the moment to the IMF? I mean,
No, we are not.
Without the IMF, if they don't give you these extra loans?
They can go hang. Tell them that.
They can go hang, tell them that. He's beating his chest. Where are the Zimbabweans now? They're here, blaming them for the failures of the ANC and saying, Abahambe, which brings us to the other side of this. Here's the immature thinking. The immature thinking is to think aggression and anger can be kept in a room. When I hear someone who's black talking about white people in my country with a tone that I wouldn't have liked, I immediately know they're not good for me either. It's the same as listening to someone gossiping about your friend. Don't feel good about it, because you next. What happened to the Zimbabweans after they had to run away from hunger? They came to South Africa. Guess what's happening? They thought they were taking someone's land, angrily supporting him. Now they lost that land and they are here. And guess what? They have Gayton McKenzie and Kenny Gunene being their Mugabe. Here's what happens. Anger sown will be reaped. Do not tolerate anger, negativity, envy, resentment against someone in your country because they're different from you. Because as soon as that anger grows enough, it'll come back and bite you. So listen, don't be impressed by politicians who are busy being angry with the West. Should they be buddy-buddy with the West? No, just be mature and do what needs to be done. Why? Because here's what will happen. Very soon, that same anger. How do I know? What happened with Zimbabweans when they came here and we were saying, Mabaham, the president in Zimbabwe, who knows they left there because of hunger and have come here for opportunity, said, send them all back. We don't know why they went there. They must come back here and build. You know they work for us for slave salaries because back home is worse than slave salaries in South Africa. But look at this. The coldness that these slaves in South Africa were supporting in Zimbabwe is now the same coldness, the same Nangagwa showing to them. And they are not here undocumented because they are criminals. They are here undocumented human beings. They are just trying to survive. Unfortunately, they are reaping what they sow. They thought they are supporting resentment against the white farmer. It is immature to think an angry politician, because they say I'm angry at them, to think that anger will always be controlled. Every mature person understands. In 1994, when we got independence, when we became a democracy, there was a genocide in Rwanda. In 2025, Rwanda has multiplied 5-10 times. South Africa is exactly close to where it was at the end of apartheid economic. Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, said this.
When it comes to Africa, I'm sure many people in this audience will have made the same observations. I think we must take responsibility and accept our failures in dealing with these matters.
We must take responsibility dealing with these matters. These parties that are always blaming apartheid, blaming colonialism, because they don't want to take responsibility. And guess what? It's been getting worse. Inequality, which they are so obsessed about, which is an immature measure, because you want to measure poverty, you want to measure employment and make sure people get employed. So when I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. South Africa, this is what I'm asking. This liberation, military, skepsel, victimhood, envious of white people, they own all the businesses. They don't. We want the transformation and all that redress. And I'm not talking about the redress in our constitution. I'm talking about the redress in our comrades' mouths. Two different things. No one in South Africa is against redress. There is no party in South Africa that's against redress. There is no party in South Africa that's against grants for those who need them. There is no party in South Africa that's against the empowerment of black people, that's against black empowerment. Yes, many are against BEE because that's a scam. Expropriation without compensation, it is a childish scam. BEE, childish scam, because the leaders are ultra rich, their anger pays them, the childish politics pays them because you don't hold them accountable. They are all thieves, and they are not thieves because they were born bad people, but childish philosophies produce childish outcomes. So I want to challenge you. I know many of you won't comment, but somebody will hear me. Please move from childish politics. They usually call black parties. Either he'll love the one and hate the other, or he'll despise the one and honor the other. You cannot serve God and Karl Marx. Hope my heart came through. Let's make history. Cheers.